Hey guys, it's Infinite Dice, back with another KSP video. This time I'm playing the game, and I decided to make a video on the whole BFR rocket that SpaceX is building, or is planning to build. And I wanted to do a Kerbal variant of that, so I came up with this pretty quick. I made another smaller vessel, which I was going to use in the video, but I found that it was just too lackluster. I mean, it was pretty small. It only held like 4 guys. So this one here has 36 guys on it, I believe, and it's pretty big. So it should make for an interesting launch. I plan to launch and separate the bottom portion, which is the booster portion. That will fall back down and be reusable. And I'll continue on with the mission in the spacecraft portion up at the top. So that will make its way, probably do a refueling first, and then make its way to the Duna. That's my goal. I've never gone to Duna before, at least I don't think I've gone to Duna before, I don't know. Anyways, we're going to head for Duna and see if we can't make that. So without further ado, I'm going to get launching this thing and see what happens. Let's try it. That's insane. There's like so many guys in there. So this will take a little bit of time to get into orbit, and I hope I don't screw this up. Here's 240, so I'm going to try a little bit of a turn. Just a little bit. Try to let it stabilize now. Stabilize, girl. Stabilize. I want to get that 70 degrees. Okay, so as that comes back a bit, I'm going to try to turn a little bit more here. I've knocked it off its upright position, so I'm nudging it down towards the 70-degree mark. The last thing I want to do is upset this too much, because it will tip over and my game will be over. And all the lives of these guys. It should be able to launch and land safely somewhere. This is designed to land, so it should be able to land. I just wanted to get into space, because we're going to do it. We're not coming back to Kerbin. We're done with Kerbin. We've seen all we can see on Kerbin. Now it's time for Duna. And that's 70 degrees now. So now it's just a matter of picking up that speed, velocity, until our apoapsis is about 80,000. So my job is not over. I got to keep turning this thing to delay 90 degrees. I'm going to triple run the engine, just a little tiny tap, just to give it a little bit more leverage, so to speak. So I'm going to lay this flat, hopefully just get it nice and flat here. I don't really want to start the thrust for the circularization until I'm over 70,000, because I want it to be as efficient as possible. We should be right out of the atmosphere at that point. I don't want my apoapsis to get too high. It's at where speed is dropping, so I'm going to give it a little bit more thrust. I don't want our speed to drop too much, because then I have to pick it back up, but I also don't want to increase the apoapsis, or else I'm chasing it. I want to wait till I'm getting right up near it and fire off and circularize the orbit. Now, as we can see around in orbit here with us are some other vessels that I've planted there over the years or whatever. I have one over here called the Ultimate Lifter, and I have another one over here called the Mega Lifter. Both of those are sources of fuel. So I'm going to grab fuel from one of those, and then it's off to Duna. So I think I'm at 85,000 now, so I'm going to start burning. So watch this. There it is. Stage. Disconnect. Now I can turn this on, and we continue our burn. Now that will follow a trajectory that will just fall back down into the water. It already has its air brakes open and all of its parachutes deployed. So once it gets down into the atmosphere, all that will happen automatically. I will switch to it once we circularize our orbit, so we can watch it. Over 70,000, over 80,000. I'm just going to leave it there for now. We made it. We have tons of fuel, tons and tons of fuel left. The spacecraft will continue orbiting Kerbin, and I'm going to switch over to the bottom half, the launch portion of the rocket. So as you can see here, everything's been tripped. These have been already deployed, and all the drogue chutes are deployed. These speed brakes are also deployed. I have no fuel. Now the bad thing about that is I can't slow it down with the burn. The good thing is it's not very heavy. So with all the fuel gone, it should be fairly light. Aside from the engines, look at those engines. Holy God. I couldn't cluster any more engines on the bottom of those fuel tanks. That's pretty much all I could get on there. Maybe if I put a conical, piece on the bottom and then arrange the engines around it, kind of like a Christmas tree, might have worked better that way, but I didn't think of it at the time. I'm thinking about it now, of course. Okay, so here we are. We're into the atmosphere. Now the cool thing about this is everything that can take the heat is at the bottom, like the engines. They can take a lot of heat. So that will take the brunt of the re-entry heat. The air brakes are slowing us down a bit, so that will keep us, and that drag also kind of keeps us so the top end is up and the bottom end is down. All the mass is down here, all the drag is up here, a lot of the drag is up here. Once those drogue chutes deploy, we'll even slow down even more. So I don't know how this is affecting our trajectory, but it should be coming in a little bit, especially once those parachutes deploy. So far we haven't lost anything due to heat. Awesome. We're going to be right off the coast here. Oh yeah. This is good. This is the fun thing. When you first test something and it just seems to be working all right. Worst case scenario is these parachutes just rip right off. I hope that doesn't happen. It's right off the coastline here. This is great. Luckily for us, there's a recovery tube right there. So the drogue chutes just fully opened. We're slowing down even more. Main chutes should open any second now. There they are. Oh God, we are way too fast still. Oh! It's too fast. It's 20 meters per second. So we're gonna lose some fins or something here. I'm sorry. I figured this might work. You know, with a little bit less mass or a little bit of fuel in here, if I would have saved some fuel, I could have done a retro burn right here to slow it down to like 5, and it wouldn't. Anyways, guys, those wings were meant to be replaced every flight anyways, so I think we're okay. Now let's see what happens here, because this is going to be a fast splash. So we lose a few parts. The tanks themselves are still there. All right, here we are. Now, when we land on Duna, I did put on one small drill. It's not very big. It's a little tiny little drill. I didn't want to take too much stuff. And in this cargo area here, I put on Convertitron with these to kind of act as holders for any ore that I get. So we should be able to make our own fuel in over a long period of time. I mean, we didn't plan on just going to Duna and then heading back home to Kerbin. So the whole point of that is, yes, it can produce some fuel. It would take a long time to probably refill this thing using that small little, conversion process, but at least it has the ability to do it. So we're not kind of out in the cold until the refueling or resupply mission later on would arrive. Yeah, we should be able to get all we need from the mega lifter. It's at 194, so I'll set that as the target. I'm using MechJet for this because honestly, I don't want to spend a ton of time doing this, and this makes it a lot faster. So we can actually get to Duna within a few, maybe 2 videos. I don't know. So what it's going to do is it's going to spin me around, it's going to calculate, and it's going to match planes. So right now we're kind of going around Kerbin like this. The fuel is on a plane like this, so we have to match those 2 planes up, and then it's going to try to match speeds. And if it can't within those 16 rotations of Kerbin or orbits of Kerbin, then it will either boost or lower my orbit to kind of slow down or speed up to make that process happen quicker. So burn in 15 seconds. It's not much of a burn. It's hard, again, in the darkness to get a good view of this thing, so hopefully we clear this darkness and get some more in the sun footage here. There we go. Awesome. So it's going to intercept after 1 orbit. So hopefully we don't lose too much fuel here. I'm already starting to worry. I'm kind of an instantaneous, I don't know. I like to have spacecraft that have a lot of thrust, even out in space, so that I don't have to wait forever for them to accelerate. I'm horrible. I know I should be more patient. There we go. One thing I didn't think about was food. I hope these guys don't get hungry. Maybe the crew cabins actually stock, like they have pantries that aren't part of the stats. It's going to burn again in 22 minutes. So it's intercepting. I'll have to take a look here. Where is it? Mega lifter is there. The intercept should be over here. And then it will burn to match speed. Yeah, we're speeding up a bit to catch it. So here we go. Now it's going to do little dances. thrusting, firing towards the target and then backing off, and then firing towards the target and then backing off, just to kind of nudge us up to 100 meters or thereabouts. So here's a small burn now. Again, we started this with quite a bit of fuel. It looks like we've burned, I don't know, 500 fuel. Just rendezvousing with the fueling ship. So everything you do is expensive. Autopilot enabled. So hopefully I'm not burning too much fuel doing this. Like, this is just pissing out fuel. I am sorry. Alright. Autopilot off. It's holding it back from the connection. In any case, let's just carry on like that didn't happen, okay? So I'm going to right-click that, and get all the monopropellant I can. Still not going to be enough to fill it because I wasted so many. I'm going to take a little bit back because I got to be able to maneuver this thing a tiny little bit. Okay, and then, jeez, I feel like that's how I feel. Okay, let's get the fuel. This is what we came here for. Let's get the real fuel. The getting to Duna fuel. We are absolutely full on fuel. Except for the monopropellant, we're down to half, but we launched with less than that, so not concerned. Yeah, we're good. I'm pretty sure I have a communications device on here. Here it is. So we can extend the antenna. There we go. Awesome. And we have communications. We're trickle charging our battery if that's necessary, whatever. We will undock. Close shield. Alright. We're done. We are done. Now we must get on to Duna. That will be the next video. Thanks for watching, guys. It's nice to get back on YouTube and do some stuff, even if it isn't modding. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks.